Picture this. You're sitting in a serious meeting trying to look professional. You're writing down notes when suddenly the ink starts to fade. Word by word, line by line, everything you've written just vanishes. You stare at the paper in horror, while everyone else keeps writing like nothing's wrong. That's exactly what happened to my coworker, because he couldn't keep his hands off my pens. And trust me, he never messed with me again after that day. If you've ever had someone disrespect you, steal from you, or treat you like you wouldn't notice, this story will hit home. Smash that like button, subscribe if you love seeing karma in action, and let's dive into one of the most oddly satisfying office revenge stories you'll ever hear. I'll admit something up front. I'm a bit protective about my workspace. Not obsessive, not label everything with a sticky note protective. But I like order. My desk is my little corner of sanity in an otherwise chaotic office. I had this neat little system, pens lined up on the right, notebook in the center, sticky notes to the left, coffee mug slightly angled. It sounds silly, but when you're drowning in deadlines, those little rituals keep you grounded. But then, things started disappearing. At first, I thought nothing of it. A missing pen here or there? Fine. Maybe I dropped it in my bag. Maybe housekeeping misplaced it when cleaning the desks. Maybe I was just distracted. But the maybes stacked up fast. Because it wasn't one or two pens. It was every single pen. One day, I'd restock with a fresh pack. By Friday, gone. Like clockwork. And you know what's worse than losing pens? Losing your trust in your own memory. I'd sit there thinking, am I losing it? Did I actually bring them in? Did I loan one out and forget? That mental spiral is frustrating. You start second-guessing yourself over something as stupid as a pen. Then one afternoon, I noticed something unusual. Brad. Now, if you've ever worked in an office, you know there's always a Brad. The guy who somehow dodges responsibility but takes credit when things go right. The one who makes himself loud enough to seem important, but never loud enough to actually do the work. Brad had a pen. Not just any pen. My pen. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe it was coincidence. Same brand, same color, whatever. But then I saw another one. And another. He had 3 of them clipped to his pocket, exactly the same as the ones missing from my desk. And the kicker? I knew for a fact Brad never bought office supplies. He was the kind of guy who thought everything in the building was communal property. Snacks, staplers, chargers, you name it. If it wasn't nailed down, it was free game. So now I wasn't just annoyed, I was insulted. Do you know what it feels like to be quietly disrespected? It's not like a punch in the face. A punch in the face you can react to. You can yell, push back. But this? It was death by 1,000 cuts. Every missing pen felt like Brad was whispering, "You don't matter, you won't stop me, you're powerless." And that feeling festered. I'd sit in meetings, trying to focus, while he leaned back in his chair, twirling one of my pens between his fingers like some kind of trophy. I could feel my jaw tightening, my nails pressing into my palm under the table. But I stayed silent. Because calling him out would just turn into an argument. He'd laugh, deny it, maybe even make me look paranoid in front of everyone else. So I bit my tongue. But I made myself a promise. This ends, and it ends on my terms. Weeks passed. More pens vanished. More smug grins from Brad. More simmering frustration from me. And then, like fate intervened, I was scrolling through random office pranks online one night when I saw them, disappearing ink pens. At first I chuckled. They looked like some cheap gag gift. But then I imagined it. Brad, in a big meeting, scribbling down notes. At first everything looks fine. Then, slowly, the letters vanish. His sentences dissolve. The pages turn blank. The vision hit me like a jolt of caffeine. This wasn't just a prank. This was poetic justice. So I ordered them, a full pack. And when they arrived, I swapped them out with the regular pens on my desk, lined up neatly like bait in a trap. And then I waited. It didn't take long. Brad strutted by my desk that morning, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. He barely even looked at me. His hand slid across my desk, smooth as ever, snagging one of the pens without a word. And the best part? He didn't even realize I was watching. I felt this electric thrill shoot through me. It was happening. The trap was set. That afternoon, we had a team meeting with the department head. the kind where everyone scribbles furiously while pretending they're not nervous. Brad sat 2 seats away from me, notebook open, stolen pen in hand. Game on. At first, it was normal. He wrote quickly, filling lines with his usual messy scrawl. He leaned back, nodded, underlined things dramatically like he was the star of the meeting. Then, about 15 minutes in, I saw it. He glanced down, paused, tilted the page toward the light, frowned. He wrote another line, stared harder. The ink was fading. By the 20-minute mark, his notes were pale gray. By 30, they were gone. Entire sentences vanished like smoke, leaving behind blank paper. I watched his face change in real time. First confusion, then frustration, then panic. His eyes darted to the pen, then to the page, then to the people around him, everyone else calmly writing, page after page, while his notebook looked untouched. His hand trembled as he scribbled harder, pressing so deep into the paper that the pen almost tore the page. Still nothing. The words disappeared as fast as he wrote them. And me? Oh, I was in heaven. I kept my face calm, nodding at the manager, jotting down notes with my perfectly normal pen. But inside, I was biting my tongue so hard to keep from laughing that I thought I'd bleed. Brad shifted, coughed, tried to cover his notebook with his arm. But you can't hide blank pages. The harder he tried, the more obvious it became that something was wrong. Finally, the meeting ended. Everyone closed their notebooks, packed up their pens. Brad just sat there, frozen, staring at his blank pages like maybe the words would magically return if he wished hard enough. He flipped the notebook upside down, shook it, rubbed the paper, muttered under his breath. Nothing. I walked past him on my way out, glanced at the paper, and raised an eyebrow. Just a tiny smirk. Tugging at the corner of my mouth. Not enough for anyone else to notice, but enough for him to know. And in that split second, I saw it. The realization that I knew, that I had always known, that this was intentional. From that day forward, something changed. Brad never touched my pens again. Not once. My desk supplies stayed exactly where I left them, untouched, pristine, like little trophies of victory. And the best part? He never dared mention it. Because how could he? What would he say? I borrowed your pen and all my notes vanished? Nope. He had to live with it. Quiet humiliation, gnawing paranoia, and the knowledge that I wasn't the pushover he thought I was. And me? I had the sweetest satisfaction every time I looked at my pens, lined up neatly, safe and sound. The beauty of this revenge wasn't just in watching his notes vanish, it was in watching his confidence vanish with them. He thought he was clever, untouchable, smarter than me. But in one meeting, one pen flipped the script. Suddenly he wasn't in control. He was the fool. And I didn't need to say a word. Looking back, I realize revenge doesn't always have to be loud. It doesn't always have to be destructive. Sometimes the most powerful justice is subtle, quiet, the kind that leaves the other person questioning themselves long after it's over. And honestly, that's the sweetest kind of victory. If this story gave you even half the satisfaction it gave me, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the pettiest but most satisfying revenge you've ever pulled off? And of course, don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, the next story, you won't want to miss it.